Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is episode number 4 on the Edsel build. So this build is for the Fenders Fins and Chrome by Time Machine Scale Models over at Rob Gray's channel. And deadline, like I say, is coming up. So I've been working on this bad boy all day, trying to get it wrapped up. And we are almost there. So painting is completely done. I mean completely done. The interior is all done. Just got to assemble it. Everything's ready to go. The body, I did the clear coat on it today. So this is the body. This has been sitting in the cooker all day, and I just pulled this out. So this is no polish or waxed or nothing like that. I just took it out of the oven. So that's the Tamiya clear and the Tamiya, obviously the red and the pearl. So that really made that pearl pop pretty good. That turned out pretty nice. So I obviously don't look like I'm going to need to polish that or anything. So that turned out pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with that. And I'll show you in the video here, we did the final engine assembly. I got that all done. And like I say, interior's all painted, ready to go. Just got to put it in the car and assemble it. There's a part on there I had to let dry yet. So I'll have to do that tomorrow and go from there. So other than that, the frame is pretty much put together. I started videoing that and I happened to look up and I see my camera was on. I thought, wouldn't you know it? That's the way it always goes. But hey, why not, right? So anyways, let me take you over to the bench and we'll get going, because I don't like putting too long of videos up, but these have been running a little long, so I apologize for that. So anyways, let's get over and get going on this, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, we're gonna get the body clear coated on this. So I'm gonna give this a quick wet sand, and I'm gonna sand this down with 5,000. Now I'm not using the little sanding blocks you get. So I'm using a sanding pad. This is a 5,000 sheet. This is something you pick up at Auto Parts in your paint selection, or in your paint section. And this works very well. So what I do, I just cut a slice off, and then I break it down into little pieces like so. And it's a sponge, kind of like your little Tamiya sanding sticks are. And I think this works really well, because it actually cuts pretty good and it gives you just enough to where it's not going to kill you trying to overdo it, you know, because you don't want to burn through it. Like I say, it cuts pretty good. We're going to do just enough to give a little bit of a smooth finish. If there is any little imperfections in the red, that'll help us out. Like I say, I don't want to get too carried away with it. So I just like to work in one section at a time. And I'll take a towel and I'll wipe it off every so often just to see where I'm at. So I basically just want a nice dull looking red. But also, why it's dull, I'm looking for any like dirt spots or anything in the paint. Because once you clear it, and if you get dirt in the clear, you can wet sand that out. But if you got dirt underneath here, or dirt in here before you clear it, you're not going to wet sand it out of the clear, obviously, because it's not in the clear, it's in the paint. So that's something you got to kind of keep an eye out on. Like I say, this is just subtle enough to where it just barely kicks it down for you. In this part of the color sanding, I take my time with it. I don't rush it, because like I say, you could easily burn through it, the color, and then you kind of screw yourself on that basically. And I'll try to look for an imperfection before I start sanding it. I can see this little one right here. That way I can know how to kind of pay a little more attention to that neighborhood. Like I say, I'm not looking to polish it basically. We're just cutting it down just enough to give it something to stick to. Like I say, I know there's a little spot right here. It's almost like a little scratch. I don't know if I didn't sand it good enough from the previous coat. We got a little more attention to it, but not overly done. And if I color sand a little bit off the chrome, I'm not worried about that, because it's getting bare metal foiled. Same as like this little door lock. If that gets colored off there as well, I'm not, like I say, I'm not worried about that stuff. So once we get this wet sanded down a little bit, shoot it in some clear. Yeah, see, I took that scratch out there. That looks nice. And then we're going to put this in the oven and we're going to bake it for a bit. And then we can go ahead and get our bare metal foil on it. So we're going to do, before we paint this, we're going to mask this off under the hood. Now there's a sharp body line there that I want to stay away from because that would burn through really quick. So it's such a high point. We're just going to steer clear of that. Nice thing about this sanding block, or this sanding sponge I should say, if you cut it you can get yourself some nice sharp angle corners out of it. Now if I remember right, there's a little spot right here. Try to get that out of there. There's a little piece of lint. Now before I do the top, and probably this side here, now that we've got a little bit of coloration going on in our bowl, I'm going to dump that out and clean that water out. That way it gives me a fresh start. Red into that white by pushing on it and rubbing it in. Probably not going to hurt it, but just be on the safe side. Looks nice. Nice and smooth. Now depending on how the clear comes out, we can just leave it as is, or if it's got some dirt or dust in it, we can go ahead and sand that again one time, and then I'll give it another really heavy coat in the end. And either I can leave it or we can polish it. I don't usually get this far on my models. I don't usually go to this extent. I don't know, I'm kind of wanting this one to turn out pretty nice. Alright, I'm going to clean this water up, and I'm going to start with another fresh little piece of sandpaper, and we'll finish that white and we can get it into some clear. Okay, we got ourselves a new bowl of water here. So like I said, we're going to take our sheet and we're going to give ourselves another little piece here. Like I said, this will last you a long time. It's like I say, it's a little pricey. I think it's like $12 or something like that for that one sheet. But it's a 3M product. It works really good. Like I say, it lasts a long time. And I can save this too for another sanding, another color sand of some sort. So this here, I'm just going to give just a very light sanding just to say we sanded it. Because I do not want this to go through, because I did not give this that heavy of a coat. It's got a nice little hazing across there, so that's about what we want. On that pearl paint. We'll give this one good quick look over and we should be good to go. I think we are good to spray. Alright guys, we're going to get this clear coated, and we are using the lacquer LP9. Okay, get the back part of the valance done. Alright, we got some little trinkety pieces painted here. I gotta change paint brushes for that. Get a little more finer detail on it. So I'll tell you, a lot of times when you guys are using bottle paints, your paintbrush is your biggest choice. I mean, See, like in here, this brush is going to be too big to try to go in here because I'm going to end up rubbing the spare tire well here, but I don't want a small brush to paint this because I'll be here forever. So I'm going to use this brush to get me about here. And once I do this, I'll change it to a smaller brush. A lot of these paints you don't want to keep going over you don't want to keep passing over, especially if it's on another color. So if I do, it's going to pull that color up from down from the bottom. I'll make sure I get a good run the first time across. What I may do is go back for a second coat. You can see the paint starting to wick into the other side there. So we're going to let that set for a second. So anything else that I see that needs to be silver, like the radiator cap, we'll give it a little touch. Before we change our colors over here. And the battery, we're going to do the negative and positive, the lead pieces on here. We can do the engine while we're here. You know, you're actually not supposed to paint a transmission. It holds the heat in. What we're going to do is let that set for a little bit. Okay, so for the smaller detail, we're going to get a little guy here. Little Hobby Lobby paintbrush specials. I'm going to try to get down in here best we can. That'll work. Now I can finish this piece up here, so I need a little more detail on the edge. What our wiper motor looks like. I'm going to just paint this bracket. Looks like a voltage regulator. I'm going to do the regulator in with the gloss pen. This looks like the old ceramic block they used to have for the distributor. So we'll do that in white. We need to do the distributor. I forgot about this guy. That looks pretty good. Let that tack up for a minute. We'll do the black on the cap. I might be able to put that on the engine and we'll paint the black. I think that might be easier. Touch up here, a little highlighting. So that's ready to go on. So gas tank is pretty decent. I gotta wait that dry for just a little bit. I should have put masking tape on here to give that more of a cleaner line. I did not. Should have done that. So I had a little bit of silver here, touch that up. Not a big deal. So this here looks like a regulator, and usually those are a kind of a chrome, real shiny, bright, something in that neighborhood. So we can use our Molotow pen and clean that up. So you can see I did the bracket in silver, and like I say, this is looks like a ballast resistor for the distributor, so that's got to be white. So we're gonna get that in some white. Before I do that, I got the chrome out. Now the steering wheel has the push button in the center of the wheel. Where did I do with it? Oh, it's over here. So I believe this should be white, because that's going to be the contrast to the interior. But the center of the steering wheel has the push buttons in there for your park, reverse, neutral, drive. So we're just going to highlight those quick. Top of our power steering, we're going to do that in the chrome cover. So I painted that black on the sides and a silver paint on the edges. So we're going to do a chrome cap on it. So the air cleaner, we can do our wing nut. Alright guys, we got some sub-assembly done. So we got the engine pretty much wrapped up. So I end up gluing everything together here. Talk to me, goose. Really? What's it looking at everything but that? Alright guys, so we got engine assembled. Like I said, I wasn't worried about that carburetor because once it's together you really can't see it, and it does not want to focus very well on that. So we got the steering column done. Did the white in the middle along with the push button in the center. We got our turn signal stalk painted, and we did the firewall. So paint that up, give it a little accent. And we have the rear axle together. So this is the bottom, this is where the tree was attached, so I'm not too worried about that because it's going to sit like this in the car. So I painted that red when I had the bodywork going. And other than that, I just have the other front half where the radiator goes. I just painted this with the Molotow pen with the chrome. So we're going to work on the interior. Alright guys, we got the interior panels painted, and we painted those reefer white. And this is a Floco color for model railroading. Love this paint. Too bad they discontinued it a while back, but I have lots of it here. So it's got a nice color to it. It's almost like a warm white, kind of like a cream white. So this is going to be white here, white along the edge, white here, and this is going to be red all along through here, and this is going to be bare metal foil on the bottom. So the interior is the same way. It's got some unique interior design to it. So we got white, white, and that's going to be red, red. And the front seat's very unique. I got white across the top, and then it's a split 60-40 with red partial and then white partial. So it's kind of cool looking interior. I have some testers actually just straight red, so we might just go with that. And it is an acrylic, so it should play well with this. Even like say this is lacquer, I could even put. The problem is this is all gloss, so that's my only downside. But usually acrylic sprays kind of on a flatter side, so that's why I think I'll go with this and see how that does. Alright, we're going to get these seats taped up here quick. Did a sample run on the other panel. That looks pretty good. It's got a little gloss to it, but it's not that bad. We can live with it. It should be good. We'll try that out, see how that looks. We'll see how we did here. They're dull a little bit. They're not as shiny as gloss would be, but yeah, they're dried. So this here is supposed to be white. So we'll see how good that masked off. Not too bad. Pretty. Not bad. Oh, a little spot on the edge there. Might have to touch it up with a brush. Got me some Tamiya tape now, so it's pretty cool. I like that. Alright, let's see what else we got here. Let's get this guy. Looks pretty good. Oh yeah. So this is going to be a chrome piece here. Then this will be chrome down here with the chrome handles. So it'll look pretty nice. Alright, this is the one I was kind of worried about what it's going to look like. Not bad. Cool. So we're going to have to chrome that out. And it's got 3 pieces in here that's chrome. This here I'm just going to do in silver. I think that'll look pretty good. Alright, now, I don't know if I'm probably need to tape this off. I probably should. I don't think I got steady enough hand to go around this. It'll be a little safer. Alright, I'll bring you right back when we tape this up. Alright guys, we're going to try this here. Just did a real quick tape job here. Hopefully that's good enough. Feels really hard because when I painted the red, I went up a little bit onto the line, so boy, it really skewed, so it was really hard to determine which was straight because the line for the chrome isn't very definite. So hopefully this will be good enough to get us going here. Okay, we're going to peel it off right away just to make sure. Oh, we got lots of bleed over. Didn't turn out as good as I planned. I'll do a little fixing on that one. That thing that made it look worse. Guess I'm on my own on that one. Yeah, I had to try it. It's the pleats is what's giving me the issues because it wants to wick up into there. See if I can steady this line across here. too bad. Amazing what a little chrome does, huh? So while my paint is still wet out of this here, I'm going to try to touch the seat up and fix this. This is the paint I used to airbrush. There, fix that up. Let that dry for a minute. I got the red out. Let's see if we got any other discrepancies here. And also there's got a little bit of issue down here. I think I should fix that white while I'm at it and take care of that. Oh, no, not too bad. It's better than it did. Okay, I can live with that. We'll give it just a little more. Alright, we're going to bare metal foil these spots right here. Cut them up to both pieces. Maybe. Shazam. Pretty cool. That one corner that never cuts, isn't it? Always that one. So is that one guy in the bunch? Yeah. Alright. I scratched it. We can fix it. Still got my paint here. A little light right here. Blend, blend, blend. Okay, time that dries, that should look pretty good. I didn't cut that as long as I thought I did. Well, that's alright. Oh, you know what? I didn't notice that little piece there. I didn't do that on the other one. Let's let that go underneath, it's fine. We're skewing. Not a bad angle here. The light is making it. Plus it don't help if you notice my blade doesn't fit in it right. These are X-Acto blade 11s in an Edsel knife. For some reason I have a pack of them that do not fit right. I don't know what that's all about. It's kind of aggravating. They'll stay in there tight, but they won't go down all the way. There we go. Alright, there's door panel number 2. Probably should fix that. We're going to do white in that, right? You know, I really don't want to go back and forth with my brush again, so I might try just the toothpick thing. See if I can do it that way. I'm gonna try it. We'll try. I like those door panels. Those look pretty sharp. Those look good. I like them. I'll try this here. This always seems to work. Ah, yeah. Good old toothy pick trick. There. Beautiful. That door panel's done. Man, moving right along. Perfect. Could have used a little more white there, but you know what? Once it's in the car, you're really not going to see it. So we painted the dashboard. Per instructions, that's supposed to be white halfway down with red on the top. Now it gets a chrome stripe in the center here with the pen. So I painted the carpet in this with the acrylic craft paint. Just because I like the way that just gives you that weird, flat, dull look. I don't know why it's kind of pink there, because it's actually flag red is the color of it. The silver don't seem to be as nice as the other bottle I have. I have to go back to the other one. I was saying, go with what you know. The metallic's kind of weird in this one. And somehow you get certain bottles that just don't seem like it. Some are good, some are not so good. Yeah, I don't like this paint. Something up with it. Something weird about it. Yeah, we're gonna set that aside. So I give up on the pen. I mean, that looks okay, but I'm not happy with it. I think it's kind of rough looking. So we're gonna bare metal foil it. We're gonna try that. I think this be the way to go. I'm feeling the love on it already. Be a little more cleaner, a lot more smoother looking. As long as I can keep it cut straight. That looks nice. Okay, it looks better than the paint. I think I'm going to be in trouble here in a minute because I can see that silver paint's on my fingers and it's going to get on everything else. Kind of wish I would have thought of this first. It's alright. So I'm going to leave that, but we're going to leave that up on top. I like the looks of that better. Looks better. So we got everything bare metal foiled. Turned out pretty nice. And I tell you what, this has been drying for a long time, lacquer, and I got a nice fingerprint smudge right there. Really not much I can do about that now other than try to brush a little bit of clear coat on it. Moving on, our door panels are done. Those turn out pretty nice. Bare metal foil across this seat. I think that looks a lot nicer than trying to paint the Molitor pen on it. And we did our 3 little buttons in the middle there. We were working on the cluster at this point. So the top is painted. We're going to just do half, so this is going to get silver inside, and I'm going to do chrome accent on the knot or on the gauges. And then that should be done other than assembling the interior. I want the paint to kind of wick up inside there. See those stray brush hairs? Those are the ones that screws you over right there. It's not all the way up there that I'd like to see it, but once that's sitting flat, you're not going to see the top of that. So of course I'm a little heavy with the silver in there. So it's going to take a while to dry because I was trying to put it on heavy to get up into those gauges. Alright guys, I'm not sure what happened, but my camera's not videoing. So we got this together, the frame together on it. So putting this together, you have to put the engine and at least the Y pipe in before you put the frame on the chassis. So now we're on to installing the I'm going to do the rear suspension first. So I had to cut these off the sprue, so I'm going to have to touch that up. Not a big deal. So these go to the back, and these are going to sit in the frame in here. I'm just kind of mocking everything up right now. Looks like it'd be easier to just set this down in there first, and then set the leaf springs on top, and then just pull the axle up into it. I think that's going to be our best option. Everything's got a nice positive feel to it when you're pushing it in place. It's not, you know, struggle. Is it in? Not sure. Of course, I say that the transmission was a little tight, but that could be from a little excessive paint probably. So we're going to leave that set just for a second. And while that is sitting, we're going to move on to the front real quick. And we're going to put our springs in. I should have the springs in silver. It would have a nicer little look to them, especially sitting in the frame. But the frame is flat and the springs are gloss, so I guess that looks alright. Alright guys, I think we're going to wrap this up for tonight, and we'll finish this up probably on the next video. So we'll get that interior together, and we're going to pull that body out of the oven. Like I say, it's been in there all day, and we're going to take a quick look at that. So let me pull this out quick and see what we got going on. Like I said, it's been in there pretty much all day. Quiet. Alright, so here's our cluster. Looks like that dried up pretty good. And this looks really nice. Yeah, that turned out pretty good. Yeah, it looks a lot nicer up top with the clear coat. So now we can bare metal foil it tomorrow, get the glass in it. You know, I'm not even gonna polish this. This looks pretty dang nice. Tell you what, that 5000 sandpaper I used on that works really, really good. That'll do some serious cleaning for you. Yeah, so the hood looks pretty good. Looks pretty nice and smooth. There's a back balance. So then that, we should be ready to go for tomorrow, and we'll get that put back together. Alright guys, I appreciate you tuning in. So, like I said, we're coming along nicely in this, and next video we should have it wrapped up. So we're going to do final 5 is going to be the final draw in the video here, and might be tomorrow hopefully, or the next day. So if you guys haven't gone over to Hobby Nut Models, go ahead and check them out over there, and there'll be a link in the description below for Hobby Nut Models and for Rob Gray's channel over at Time Machine Scale Models. So I am signing out for tonight. It's been a long day out here, so I will talk at you guys later, and I appreciate you guys tuning in and following along with this, and we will see you the next time around. Thanks for watching. You guys have a good one.